Well, if you like unique cars that go very fast, the smell of fuel and the smell of burning rubber, and a lot of noise, this is the perfect place to be. Santa Pod Racecourse for the start of the 1994 European Drag Racing Championships. Well, not wishing to miss anything, let's go straight into the qualifying action with our commentator, John Price.
It's glorious weather, and it's the first round of the European Top Fuel Association Series here at Santa Pod Raceway in Bedfordshire, England. There's an enormous crowd here to watch the qualifying for the first round, and our first pair out onto the line brings together Liv Berstadt from Norway and Rico Antes from Germany. Now, Rico Antes is making a welcome return to the track after a spectacular crash here at the World Finals in 1993. Liv Berstadt is here looking for form, and in her eagerness to get up to the start line, nearly throws her crew chief Ruderfield onto the floor. Here they come. The track is a little bit suspect this weekend. We've been seeing lots of people go up in smoke, and that's exactly what Liv Berstadt does. She overpowers the track. Rico Antes fires all the way through there and collects a run of 6.07. He was doing 165 miles per hour at the top end after having clicked off. Peter Lantz is sitting back watching Tony Brittenson burn out in the other lane. He's got a problem with his starter motor. Tony Brittenson, however, has no problems, puts in a run but then lights the tyres up again, and he ends up as our number 3 qualifier with a 6.68, 130 miles per hour. Next burnout is from Vivica Avested. Now, Vivica has been seen here at Santa Pod Raceway in all manner of racing guises. We've seen her here in street cars, we've seen her here in pro stock cars, and now she's here in a top fuel dragster. It only seems like yesterday that we were classing her as the rookie driver. Not so anymore. Vivica Avested really lays down a good run. She clicks it off at the top end and grabs number 2 position with a 6.36, 145 miles per hour. Meanwhile, Peter Lantz fires up his car, but all he succeeds in doing is overpowering the track. He wasn't that pleased with that. Well, that just wraps up qualifying, with Peter Lantz ending up in the number 4 qualifying spot with that cruising 9.97. These are funny cars. Fiberglass replica bodies of road-going American cars, and in some cases British cars. The driver sits behind the 5,000 horsepower nitromethane burning engine. Not exactly the nicest place to sit. These are the wild brutes of drag racing. Very, very short wheelbase. It makes them hard to control, and they are known from time to time to give a hefty bite back if you don't treat them right. Well, here with a fantastic burnout is American Harlan Thompson in his nitro-burning funny car. Harlan is a regular visitor to us here at Santa Pod and is often to be found in the winner's enclosure. His beautifully prepared Budweiser Dodge Daytona has the benefit this weekend of an additional crewman working for him in the guise of American Bill Schultz. Schultz runs his own successful funny car team in America, and that looks a great run from Harlan Thompson. Gets a bit squirrely mid-track, but he cracks off a fabulous 6.07, a terminal speed of 221 miles per hour. He's going to take a bit of staying with this year. Coming round to put in his qualifying run is one of the crowd's favourites, British man John Spufford. A fabulous burnout says, hey, showtime! driver with the capabilities and experience of John Spuffard could have saved this funny car from certain annihilation. Certainly it's the first indication to us that something is not quite right with the track. John having to fight to keep the car running straight.
What's known as a burnout. Now it's very important to these guys because they basically have to warm up the tyres, and they go a little bit down the track and they basically lay 2 lines of wet rubber, and that gives them a real good sticky launch pad when they actually start the race again, and then they sort of move their way back up ready for the start. If you like the smell of burning rubber and the smell of fuel, this is your perfect day because there's about 20,000 people here. It's an absolutely fabulous atmosphere. It's getting loud. I bet you can't hear me. I can't hear myself. Time for these.
Well, the main event at Santapod brings to the public gaze the first round of the RAC Top Alcohol Championship. A heavily contested championship for all UK drivers. And out here at the moment, we've got last year's champion. This is Rob Turner, an ex-Corey McLenithan car, really set up very, very nicely this weekend, and indeed had given Rob the #1 qualifying spot at 6.65. Now, his opponent was Essex man Paul Jackson. Paul has had a really mean weekend and had got the #8 qualifying spot with a run of 7.52. He brakes before he can come out into competition, so it leaves Rob Turner all alone in that left-hand lane, and he puts down the quickest run so far of the weekend at 6.59, 214 miles per hour. The man from Higham Ferries marches into the next round as we look at our next pair coming out for their burnouts. We've got a funny car and an altered, and these two have come in due to 2 other drivers having broken. This is Frank Bennett from Essex with his Fiat Topolino altered. One of the greatest handfuls on a drag strip, extremely small wheelbase, smaller in fact than the wheelbase on this Corvette funny car with Ken McCormack at the controls. Frank Bennett's brother Mick just telling him, put the visor down on your helmet, get comfortable, get ready, you're just going for your run. They move up to the start line. 2 drivers who didn't expect to come out into the actual race. Now, who's it going to be? Well, Kenny McCormack looks to be miles in front, but he goes right out to the side there. He crosses the outside white line and he disqualifies himself from the race. So the man who got to the top end second, Frank Bennett, with a slower time of 8.42, goes into the next round. This is Barry Sheevels. Barry is up against Lindsay Duca. Lindsay was our #7 qualifier, having run an off-form 7.39. But Barry Sheevels in the opposing lane was our #2 qualifier, having run a 6.69. There's been a lot of work undertaken on this car during the last week, but on their qualifying times, it should point to Barry Sheevels from Nottingham taking the win, and certainly they're away together, but Sheevels just powers past Lindsay Duca. That looks a great run, and it is 6.22, 203 miles an hour, the best ever for Barry Sheevels and the Stagecoach team. Is he pleased, or could he have done better? Well, our final pair coming out, 2 very experienced men in the field of alcohol racing. 2 great burnouts. Dave Wilson from Farnborough in Hampshire with his Krypton car was our #3 qualifier. He clicked off a 6.79, and he's up against Cheltenham's Doug Bond. Doug driving a new setup this weekend, who was our #6 qualifier with a 7.37. Well, experience telling and power for Dave Wilson as he takes the win, gets to the top end with a time of 6.80. Doug Bond losing out with a 7.53. Well, sadly, that's all we were to see this particular meeting from our top alcohol championship due to the state of the track.
Well, that's all the action from the first round. Join us a little later on for the finals, and this, the fastest accelerating car over a quarter of a mile in the whole world. Welcome back to Santa Pod, and I know you're full, but it really is a bank holiday Monday here in England. But to look at this weather, you'd think we're in California. But earlier on, we saw some of the top action from the racetrack. Now we'd like you to meet the ultimate showman. Well, behind me is the Vanishing Point rocket car, and this is the man that designed, built and drives it, of course, Sammy Miller, better known as Slammin' Sammy. Why have you not been with us for 10 years, Sammy? Where have you been?
Well, I thought that I'd just hide a little bit. I'm still trying to get over ultimate. You know, it's like a big word. I'm just a drag racing ambassador. I've been all over the world doing other things for the past 10 years. I thought I'd get a normal life and try and be a normal person, but it didn't work, you know. Working on designs and things for cars and stuff. But basically, just always a drag racer, waiting to come back here. And things have changed in my life, so I'm back now. I feel like I took a vitamin or something. I'm younger again.
Took a holiday. Well, I'm
Yeah.
sure the British public are really pleased to see you here on this weekend.
Well, I hope they are, because it's been a lot of effort and a lot of work on a lot of people's parts to get us to this point. We have some problems that we're trying to straighten out, and I always feel like, when you talk about speed and the fastest guy and all that stuff, you feel kind of like I've got to do something special all the time, and we try to do that, but I'm living through some major problems right now. We're about to try to go very fast for everybody here today at the risk of blowing the car up.
All right.
But that's what it's worth to do for these people, and we'll try it.
Well, the one thing with Sammy Miller that he doesn't need is a good track, because Sammy, of course, does not rely on traction, wheels against strip. He relies on thrust, and there is an awful lot of thrust in this machine. Cocooned in this funny car body, it's a Mustang replica. We go with a countdown rocket style.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Well, clouds of smoke and a big thrust away from the start line. Still problems with Sammy Miller. He's been having loads of problems with his hydrogen peroxide fuel, and he still hasn't corrected it. What a great shame. The crowd were looking for something here, and poor Sammy will be heartbroken. So let's move straight into the first round of this series, which puts Tony Brintonson against Peter Lance. Well, Peter just getting ready to run, checking the car before he finally climbs aboard his 5,000 horsepower machine. Now let's see what his thoughts are.
We have way too much power for the track right now, so we have calmed it down a little bit, and our new injector, our self-design, are working very well. We gave a 9 pc more blower pressure, and let's see what happened today. We have calmed it down. I hope the traction come along so we can go out there around 520 something, and that's what we're hoping to do right now.
You know, you're going into round one against Tony Brintonson, another Swede. He's a bit of an unknown entity. You've never raced him before.
I raced him in Finland for 2 years ago, and the car was a little bit low on horsepower. Right now, I don't know. Tony is the guy that almost got longest out at the track without smoking the tires, so that's going to be tough. But I think we got it set it up.
Well, he sounds really confident, doesn't he? That's Peter Lance, but this is his opponent. Tony Brintonson back into racing after a year's layoff. How does he feel?
Now, you've just been over to Pomona testing this brand new car of yours, and you've sort of qualified yesterday. Are you happy with the way it's performing?
No, we're not happy with it, but because we had some bad luck with it, we just put on oil every time, and it was small things that happened, line broke, some things like that. But the car runs good, and the engine sounds fine, so can we just put things together so we got a good lap?
And you've got top American crew chief working on your engine, Glenn Micras.
Yeah, that's right.
Is he going to be staying with you for the whole season?
Nope, it's not. It's only this race. He's busy back in the United States to tune Dean Scusa's car, who is very far up in the point standings in NHRA.
So what's it like getting back into the car after a 12 months break? How are your reaction times? Are they suffering?
No, I don't think so. When we're on in the United States, and I was somewhere around top 10 of the drivers over there.
So you're up against Lance in the first round. Does that
Yep.
worry you? Are you confident?
Yeah, I'm confident. I am. It should be very good to come back here and run, and all English fans and everything like that, it's very good.
Well, he certainly is popular with the English fans. The Bart man, Bart Simpson lookalike, Tony Brintenson from Sweden. But he's got some stiff competition here in the first round. Peter Lance, with his all-new air injection system sitting on the top of the car, is not going to give in easily. Even though Brintenson has Glenn Micras, a wizard from America, crewing for him this weekend, it's going to be a tough race. These two guys have met one another on several occasions before, and honours are just about even. But here we are, the proof of the pudding, as they come up to the start line. Furthest away from the camera, that was Tony Brintenson. They're away together, and up in smoke goes Peter Lance, but Tony Brintenson brakes, and Peter Lance hooks up again and takes the win. Well, not exactly huge top fuel time, 7.68 for Peter Lance, but he is through into the next round. Well, this lady is really on a roll here this weekend. She was extremely pleased with grabbing the number 2 qualifying spot with her run of 6:37. And of course, last year at the World Finals at Santa Pod, she was runner-up to Peter Lance, running her best ever time. She's here with a great crew. Her husband, Harkin, is the man just giving her a lift into the car, is her crew chief. She has an English top mechanic with the team. What does she think about her chances here at the main event at Santa Pod in 1994? Surely she must be looking for an overall win.
Now, obviously, it's very important for you to have a very good backup team, and there's a lot of activity going on in the background. What's happening now? This is your son here, isn't it?
Yes, it's my son Hampus.
A real family affair.
Yes, it's important for us.
Okay, what's he actually doing at the moment?
He's responsible for the fuel. So what's he doing now? He mixed the fuel, methanol and nitro together.
Oh, right, so he has to get the perfect mix.
Yes.
And obviously the guys up the end here, they're all fine-tuning the engine.
Yes, and check everything before the race.
Okay, and they do this between each race?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about today? You're racing in probably less than an hour now.
Today I think it's my day. I think I'm going to win today.
Good. Now you qualified second and you're drawing against Liv.
Yeah.
So it's the two women together battling out.
It's nice.
It's good.
Yeah, it's good.
Now you've qualified in 5th position, which is last place, which is not like you, and you're up against Vivica. Are you going to be trying hard to get through?
Of course, I'm trying so hard as I can, and I'm very disappointed. And of course, I love to be here in England, and I love to show what I and the car can do. So I try my best.
Because you still hold the European record.
Yeah.
In top fuel. No one's been able to get close, apart from Rico Anthes, the German, but he hasn't been able to back that up.
Oh, it's incredible that nobody has been taking that yet, or that myself was doing it. But we see this year. I think a lot of things will happen this year.
Well, both ladies seemingly very confident, but it's Liv Bärstadt who's got more to prove. She hasn't found form during the whole of the 1993 season and now wants to get going in 1994 with a significant win. But she couldn't have picked a more hard-charging adversary than the Valvoline sponsor car of Vivica Avestad. So here they come. Mobile 1, remember, is Liv Bärstadt. Valvoline is Vivica Avestad, and they're away. And it's Livy all the way. Liv Bärstadt takes the win. Something went wrong with Vivica Avestad's car. Now let's just follow them through and look at that explosion there, really lifting the car up, and that flying away is the blower belt. Well, what rotten luck for Vivica Avestad, but cuddles and hugs all the way around for Liv Bärstadt. And is there any animosity between those two drivers? Not one little bit. Look at that. Congratulations coming along from Vivica. She's as pleased for Liv as Liv is. So we move on. And our final runner in this first round of European Top Fuel is the German Rico Anthes. He gets a bye run because he was the number 1 qualifier, but he wasn't that happy with the running of his new car.
Rico Anthes from Germany, welcome back to Santa Pod in England. We've got a brand new car here that we're standing next to. You've qualified number 1 with it. Can you tell us a bit about it?
Well, we kind of got lucky on that qualifying pass because everybody so far yesterday kind of smoked tires or got problems, and we had problems too and ran only 6:03 or something, which we were not pleased with. But still, I mean, it ran better than everybody else, so that's why we're number one.
He's a real character, Rico Antes. He's got a colossal crew behind him. Dale Denton, Paul Berry, both from America, looking after this German. He's the quickest in Europe. 5:11 he's run, but not on this particular run. He just chirps the car away from the start line and gives us another runner in the final four of these nitro-burning top-fuel dragsters. Well, the sad news is, after a fantastic first round in all classes, the state of this track says that there is going to be no more racing. There was a heavy rainfall on the day before this race meeting. The water has lain underneath the rubber, and that's what all those bits are. The rubber has lifted in the heat of the day.
Well, an end to a great day's racing, and I've got to say it's a new experience for me, but I thoroughly enjoyed myself. Can't hear a thing though, and I'm slightly shaken but not stirred. So don't forget to join us for the next round of the 1994 European Drag Racing Championships from Finland. I'm setting off now. These guys are a lot faster than me.